Mackenzie residents jammed the community centre Tuesday afternoon, hoping for good news from an entourage of out-of-towners who descended on their city from Prince George and further south.
I'm excited to tell you that $750,000 will be granted to GeoScience B.C. to fund additional geoscience mineral exploration surveys at the northern end of the Williams Lake to the Mackenzie Fort St. James corridor, over and above the $4 million announced by GeoScience B.C. a few weeks ago. Good stuff. Bring it on. There is uncertainty about 900 forest and service industry jobs after a recent forest company announcement, and it's critical that Mackenzie diversify its economy. This and the 100 mill jobs lost with the closure of Stewart Lake Lumber in Fort St. James are all influenced by the mountain pine beetle.
Mackenzie Mayor Stephanie Killam welcomed the news from Northern Trust, as the community has been hurt recently with the announcement by Canfor that it will be closing its mill in August. The closure will put about 900 people out of work in Mackenzie, a tiny community of about 4,500 people north of Prince George. She said the community is certainly open for business and mining can fill the gap. The closure has affected both Mackenzie and Fort St. James, and Killam said the two communities will work together to overcome the obstacles ahead.
We want to move forward to economically diversify both communities. And that's Mackenzie's aim, is for economic diversification and still keep the community viable, attractive, and where it is. That's our main goal. We're open for business, for mining, and for resource development and other resources to happen in this area. And we're certainly very happy to be part of this announcement and what's going to happen here. And we thank both the Trust and GeoScience for all that they have done to
and it's what's going to keep our province moving forward into the future. Without the Mackenzies and the Fort St. Jameses and the Dawson Creeks and the Prince Georges of British Columbia, there is no Lower Mainland, there is no Vancouver, there is no Victoria. The healthcare system, the education system that all of urban British Columbia relies on is driven out of the benefits of our resource economies.
Residents were keen to listen, and Lynn Anglin from GeoScience B.C. explained exactly what the people of Mackenzie can see in their skies in the near future.
And Canadian delivered. Now they're based, both companies, the Airborne EM, which is the Dreamcatcher, and the Airborne Gravity are based out of Ontario, but the helicopter company is based out of Langley, BC. And the geochemical groups we're going to be using are also BC based. So we're investing our money close to home as we can get. Cool. The instrument that Janine referred to is a large loop. And yes, there's a picture of it. We have some handouts that we can provide, and I've got this clip on a DVD for anybody who wants to take it home. It's a huge loop of, actually it's ABS pipe, that makes a ring, and inside it is a wire. And at the center of it, I described it as a spider web, but Minister Kruger nicknamed it a dream catcher. And it hangs down on a long wire below the helicopter, and it flies at treetop. The helicopter will be about 30 meters above. But you'll see this loop, and it will just pass about 80 kilometers an hour is the speed the helicopter will fly, and it will pass just at treetop. And they'll fly straight lines. What we're planning to do is have east-west straight lines, and the survey area is 120 kilometers wide, and then it'll move 4 kilometers north and fly the opposite direction. And so you will occasionally see this helicopter go over top. It's going to be an A-Star B3 is the helicopter model, with TRK helicopters in Langley. And I hope that they will be here in Mackenzie in the next week or so, maybe 2 weeks. They're working in the Yukon right now, and they've had some weather challenges, and I think they had to replace a piece of equipment on the helicopter, so they've had a couple of delays. We were really hoping that they'd be able to be here today, but they haven't been able to finish the job in the Yukon yet, but they should be here soon. And then the airborne gravity work will be done with what's called a diamond aircraft. It's fixed wing, it flies a little higher and faster. You won't see it probably as readily because it won't be as close to the ground, but they'll fly every 2-kilometer line spacing. And we hope that they'll be starting in sometime in August and be completed by the end of September. And then the geochemical samplers will probably be here to start in mid to late August. There will be a crew based out of Mackenzie and a crew based out of Fort St. James for part of the summer. And before they're actually here, we'll make sure that the mayor and anybody in the community who's interested knows where they're going to be, what they're doing, and I'm sure they'd be quite happy to answer questions.